Welcome back to SuperCoach DR. Hope you're having fun and stay tuned.
G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach for DR and welcome to the 2023 SuperCoach season review. Just like that, it's all over. We are done and dusted for another year. And what a year it was. Some absolute carnage right from day dot. We had underperforming primos, injuries, laid outs, suspensions, concussions, you name it. We got it this year. And I must admit, particularly given my start to the year, and I can say this now that we are done and dusted for the season, there were times or weeks where I just did not want to rock up. You know, I did have some family issues going on during some stages, and if it wasn't for you guys, really, I just wouldn't have rocked up. You know, I'm certainly not going to miss those 4:30 a.m. stocky uploads, but at the end of the day, the reason why I put out content is because we've got such a great community here. You guys give me the motivation to put these videos out, and I cannot thank you enough for your unwavering support so far this year. And speaking about family, I do have my oldest here, Nash.
G'day, guys.
G'day, guys. You can tell that we're setting him up to be a future SuperCoach Hall of Famer. I tell you what, he's a very keen SuperCoacher, and I need to show everyone this because he's been bragging this week. I have never got a score as big as this. He's been playing for a couple of years. And check this out. So this is my family league. And congratulations, H. Took me out in the grand final. But for the minor final, we can see that... where are we, Nash, man? That we've got Nash here. So he came up against my sister-in-law, Pam, who I think after round 5 was in the top 250, if you don't mind. But tailed off a little bit towards the end of the season. But check this out. A 29.31 the young man got just to finish off with. So we'll quickly get into this side, mate. So Sinclair Stewart Dawson, Shees Houston Himmelberg. The Bont Laird Track Zeret Tom Green, 145. I didn't even realise he got 145. Brayshaw Trelaw Rao. Rowan Kizza, Butters Goulden Rosie, Dunks Tex, and Timmy Taranto. So probably finished with a better side than his old man. So he certainly had bragging rights this week, but at least I made it to the real finals. Let's be honest, you don't want to get in those bottom finals, do you? But congratulations, son. You do have the bragging rights this week. But look, for an overall season rank, I did manage to claw my way into the top 1%. Didn't quite get into the top 2,000. Maxi, I'm looking at you, son. I'm looking at you, Max Gorn. You're my ticket into the top 2K, but you just underperformed when Big Boy Rowan, in like 90% of the top 1% ranked sides, went absolutely bananas. So stuff you, Maxi. You absolutely screwed me, mate. What are you laughing at, mate? You're not a Gorn owner, so yeah, he can laugh this week. But look, an okay season rank, and look, although I'm a little bit disappointed, there is a fair bit of pressure to get a decent rank, particularly when you're putting out content, but I'm always chasing my best overall rank, and that's above 33rd. So I got 33rd back in 2014, and I'm always chasing a better rank than that. For some people, we're league players, and the overall rank doesn't really bother you that much, but if you manage to get a PB this year, congrats. And look, a PB for some might be 5K, 10K, 20K, wherever you've come from and wherever you've finished this year, be proud of yourself. And as I mentioned before, the game's all about fun, even though some of us do take this game extremely seriously. But I must admit, I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a SuperCoach break. I'll probably end the video with some of my future plans for next year. Got some really, really exciting news up the sleeve, and also go through some of the content that I will be producing during the off-season. That will include some NBL stuff. Nash the Mad Basketballer himself, so he'll be right into that with me. And I'll be catching up with Steve from SDS SuperCoach to produce some content with him. Cause of the Ladies Man, Blackledge, will most likely feature on the channel. And I'm also in a really great DM group with the great Damo from Jock Reynolds. Congrats, boys, as well, on your sign-off after years and years of great work. Absolute pillars of the community. But I might try to give Damo the elbow and come on for a few videos because he's an absolute legend and not a bad NBL SuperCoach, let me tell you that. But yeah, instead of going through in great depth with a really big season review, I was going to go for like an hour and a half, but I thought, no, I'm going to strip it right back. I might do some separate videos, maybe on lessons learned, or even leave that to next year. But what I will do is I'll do a very, very quick round 24 review. Then we'll go into some of my trade history, and then end with some thank yous, goodbyes, and when I say goodbyes, just goodbye to the AFL Supercoach season. Hello to the NBL Supercoach season, as I mentioned, though, and then some future plans, as I said, for next year. So that's it for the intro, guys. Hope that you had a wonderful season. Let's take a quick look at the side. So here is the final team in all its glory, 73,800 remaining in the bank, and that is slightly frustrating, particularly given times during the year where I was just begging and pleading for an extra couple of K, but it is what it is. I did bring in Doggett Jackson for Dacos as my last trade, and he's certainly gone up in price, so that's all good there. Also slightly frustrating, and you can't actually see it on the screen now, but I did have one boost remaining, so one unused boost. Maybe part of my lessons going into next year. But as a defensive unit, we ended up with Sicily, Stewart, Dawson, Sheasel, Himmelberg, the Seagull, and Will Day. So you can count either your Day, Himmelberg is that 23rd type premium player. Whoever you want to count as that player, I think that was the right move, getting in that 23rd, because particularly during the end of the season, we had absolute carnage. So I think that was a solid move. But all in all, Sicily, he's been a pretty solid trade-in for me. Got a couple of really big ceiling scores, a nice 130 to end. Did get that low 58 on debut, but he certainly made up for that. The only frustrating thing with Sicily is that I captained him for two real mediocre scores around the 100 mark. So that's a little bit frustrating, but at the same time, he was a pretty solid trade-in for Josh Dunkley. Stewart with a 124, again, really solid trade-in, super season from him. Dawson was a little bit up and down when I first got him in, but his end of the season on a pretty strong note. Didn't really get any of those massive ceiling type games, but he's been pretty sturdy, I suppose. So Sis with a 114.1 season average, 113.7 for Stewart, and Dawson just trumps the both of those with 115.9. This bloke, 114 to end the season. Harry Sheasel, congratulations on a ripping season, mate. A little bit unlucky, I think, not to reach triple figures for that season average, 99.5. Got really, really close, and I hate to say this, but I think he's a lock for the Rising Star. I'm still going to be highly advocating for my man Will Ashcroft, but this guy's just done too much, I think, with Ashy missing last 5 games. Give it to this man. I think he deserves it. Do you start him next year? Will certainly be in calculations anyway. Well done, Harry. Terrific debut season, mate. Rising Star winner, I think, in 2023. Harry Himmelberg. So I was getting super frustrated with this pick. I bought in Harry because he was that swingman. He was the original 23rd, so I'll probably count him as my 23rd. Main reason bringing Himmelberg in was the fact that he could cover down back as well as up forward, and I really needed someone that could do that. So happy that I ended up bringing him in. 129 this week, I think was a run 27 the week before. So great couple of weeks from him. Well done, H. This probably one of my worst trade-ins for the year. The Seagull Lloyd. So had some mediocre scores. He got injured, concussed, out for that week. And the most frustrating thing here is that I had my pick out of the Seagull, Sinclair, and Luke Ryan. And we all know what Luke Ryan and Sinclair managed to do towards the end of the season. So definitely the wrong trading option there. A little bit of it was unlucky. Bloody Nank had a rant on the swordplay pod, you remember that. But yeah, all in all, not a fantastic pick. He won't ever enter my side again, I don't think, Seagull. This bloke certainly may, not next year, but maybe in years to come as a midfielder. Will Day, he was a really solid trading option for me at the end of the day. We were a little bit worried about him. People traded him out, along with Sheasel, at the same time that I traded Zeeble out. But particularly during the last couple of months, he's given us some really decent scores. Remember, last week was 118 in 3 quarters. This week, I assume he's a little bit sore, but an 80 isn't a disaster. Well done, Will. Pretty successful there. Onto the midfield now. So, ended with Bont, Butters, Laird, Track, Zerrett, Neal, Steele, and Sarong as the main 8. Windhager, Roberts, and Rouston on the bench. Bont was phenomenal, not just last week, not just the week before, but for the whole season. My best starting pick. You can't go past him. I reckon probably half the rounds this year I used him as my captain, and he really disappointed. So, Bont, salute to you, mate. I'm not going to go into a big thing with Bont now. We all know what this man did during the 2023 season, and I hope that he ends the year with a Brownlow around his neck. So thank you for a wonderful season, Bont. Do you start him next year at around 715k? That's a discussion, not for now. Probably pre-season. We'll talk about that. Zach Butters, what a phenomenal last 5-6 weeks this guy's had. So a little bit down, gave us a couple of 80s, and then bang, 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 bang. What a great end to the season. I bought him in for Clary, only owned Clary for 2 weeks, so I think that was a pretty successful trading option and really did like to utilise that DPP in my midfield moving forward as well. So terrific season from him, and again, a high chance that he may have a Brownlow around his neck as well. Wouldn't it be great to see these two blokes even share the award? That'd be fantastic. But we'll see what happens there. Nicky D still in with a big shot. Rory Laird, so I actually started with this bloke. It was a bit of FOMO after missing out on him last year. Didn't own him at any stage during the 2022 season, and I think he underdelivered for us this year. From round one, we were a little bit worried, weren't we, after it was a little bit too hot for Rory, and he went a 50. Luckily, I didn't have him as captain like other people did. Brent, you'll be swearing at the screen hearing this now, mate. But, yeah, a little bit disappointing as a starting pick. You could have picked him up 100k cheaper, and that would have been a really ideal time to do that because he had a solid season without being fantastic. Yeah, I do regret starting him, but love the desk as a player. Track, he was a really solid trade-in option for me, so didn't go under the ton. A little bit unlucky given the fact that Fritchie went down. He had to spend a little bit more time in the forward line, but it is what it is. Still a really good trade-in option. Zerrett, I think, was probably up there with my best trade-in options of the year. Been a little bit up and down lately, but to end on 133, that's fantastic. And remember, he went on an absolute mad run, the highest scorer in the competition for about a 3 to 4 week period. So great season from him. Will I start him next year? Probably not, because it always seems like he'll get tagged for a couple of games in a row or get some sort of a minor injury, come down in price, and then we jump on him. So in calculations, but probably not as a starting pick for me. Lachie Neale, been a really down last month by his lofty standards, but 137 to end the season was terrific. I actually started with Neale, traded him out, then traded him back in at a really nice price. He delivered with some nice 140 type scores. We got some consistency back, but then, as we all know, for the last month, apart from this game, he really underdelivered. So Chris Fagan did mention that he was playing injured, so I think that's probably the reason for that, along with getting a couple of hard tags during that time as well. But all in all, pretty solid season from Lachie Neale. Jack Steele, yeah, terrible trading for me. I was jumping for joy when he gave us those 140s, but all in all, a very below par season from the man of steel. I took his cape off him during the stocky for a little while. He bounced back, gave it back to him, and then as soon as I gave him back his cape, back down he went again. But you can't blame anyone else but yourself for these trade-ins, and Steele is certainly one that I do regret. Sarong with a 140, the schlong, as we all know him on this channel, really delivered in my grand final week, but hasn't been the best trade-in option in saying that. Gone some 80s, 90s, gone a couple of 100 pluses as well for me, so okay, but the time to have this man was really at the start of the season as a pod, but all good with Caleb. Hasn't been a disaster. Rouston was an absolute disaster trading because I traded him in for Chesser, and the whole idea behind that was get rid of a dead rookie. I traded out a dead rookie for another dead rookie, so trade wasted there. Matty Roberts, we all got him in, just unlucky. And Windy was an absolute ripper trade-in at the end of the day. I thought that I'd lost out because Sheldrick was looking like the best trade-in option. Would have been as well, if not for injury. 2 would have been Dev Rob at the time, and 3 at the time was certainly this man. But by the end of the season, and things can certainly change in SuperCoach, he was clearly the best man to have. I didn't need too many of his scores, but when I did, he actually delivered. So well done, mate. Really great season from him. And I think what helped him was that transition down to that half-back role. And onto the rucks and forwards. So Maxi gone. Man, I was spewing with this bloke this week. Last couple of weeks, I thought, once Grundy goes out of the side, and it was luckily only for a week, I was thinking anyway, he'll bounce back to 120 plus at a minimum. But no, didn't even reach a ton last week. I think it was about an 85. And this week, only the 65 points. And in a SuperCoach Grand Final, in a week where I really wanted to at least crack that top 2,000, he did bugger all. So, Maxi, very disappointed with you, bloke. But next season, at 104.5 average, I think he actually presents value. Age is a slight concern, so not quite sure if I'll be starting Maxi next year, but certainly will be in calculations. And this man, Kizza Briggs, what a godsend he was. We told you in the potty, get a bit of Kizza in you, and I'm lucky that I did. Certainly up there. If he's not my best trade-in of the year, he's definitely in the top couple, I think, because I bought him in for around 250k and actually replaced Darcy, Big Shrek, as my R2. For 250k, being able to do that, that's just phenomenal from Big Kizza. Now, there were certainly weeks where this hurt me, not having Rowan, not having English there, but as I mentioned, for the price that I paid, he ended up on 573,800. What a man he is. One of the best rucks in the comp, one of the best up-and-coming players in the entire competition as well. Salute to you, big man. Enjoy your off-season. Well, they're in the finals. But enjoy your SuperCoach off-season anyway. And thank you very much for everything you've done for my side this year. And Madden was my captain probably 50% of the time, so thank you, Big Nick. Onto the forward line. Dogger Jackson, I've owned for the last 3 weeks. He's been a really solid trade-in option for Nick Dacos. A couple of 120s and then another 101 to end the season. All good. Thank you very much, mate. Didn't really need him as ruck cover. Errol, remember, I didn't actually start this man, but I realised my mistake very early on. Bought him in round 2. And apart from some of those really low floor type scores, sorry, Shorty, I don't want to bring this up, mate, but I won't, Shorty. I wouldn't do that to you, mate. But yeah, Errol has certainly delivered more times than not this season. I tell you what, if he does not have an All-Australian blazer by the end of this year, then just drop the whole concept. Don't even worry about doing the All-Australian side, because he should be one of the first picked in his position. He should be the first picked in his position on the wing. One of the easiest selections that they'll get. Get him into the side. He deserves it. SuperCoach star of the future. Connor Rozee, starting pick for me. So he was a safe as houses type pick basically all year. I forgave him for that 75 last week. Expected him to bounce back, and he did with a 114. Super selection. Well done, Connor. Cogs, bit up and down like we expected from him, but 115 to end the season was good. 101.7 for the season average. Bolton, if I had a rant this week, it would certainly be about this bloke. He did everything he could to give me a dodgy score. Lost 14 points for a free kick against, and then that stupid 50-metre penalty, for dissent. Eleni Gutsis, I don't really rate as an umpire, but don't mouth off. You're going to get that sort of stuff. It frustrates me so much even thinking about it. Kicks into the man on the mark from a set shot out from 40, like 3 behinds, just, oh man, for such a skillful player, he does some dumb stuff sometimes, but that's what you expect with Bolton. But like Maxi, in a grand final week, where you want to get inside the top 2K, he's in 1 point something percent of the top 1%. We just can't afford for him to under-deliver. And between the two of them, didn't even get Rowan Marshall's score. So that really, really hurt me this week, but that's what you get with Bolton rollercoaster selection. And Taranto, what a super, super disappointing second half of the season from this man. He was looking like an absolute Uber for the first 12 weeks and then just fell off a cliff. Don't know what happened to him, but yeah, disappointing from Timmy. And to round out the bench, Marek, I don't think I needed, apart from the 1 week where he gave me around a 50. That's all good. Frustrating that I couldn't cash him in because he ended up almost getting 300k, which would have been handy earlier on in the season. And Tyrell actually used to good effect swing in plays like Himmelberg and Sheasel from defence to my forward line. So that is the side there. Am I overly happy? No, certainly a few picks that I'm missing. The glaring omission is obviously Tim English in the ruck. You could put arguments in for Rowan as well. In the midfield, probably a Libba type selection, maybe a Brayshaw over a Steele would be nice, but apart from those blokes, it's pretty solid. And in the back line, I'm really missing a Sinclair and a Luke Ryan, but having Sicily, getting him in late was pretty good for me, a nice pod to have, and all in all, I can't complain too much with the side. So that is the actual side. What we might do now is take a look at maybe my rank history. Oh man, here we go. I need to revisit the nightmare that was the start of my 2023 SuperCoach season. Nothing went right. Absolutely butchered my starting team. I thought I'd put all these bad memories out of my mind, but we do need to go back quickly. Things do pan out a little bit better. I sort of look at my season in almost chunks of 3. So that's the start of my season, that bye period, and then obviously the end of my season, probably that last 6 to 7 week period. So we'll quickly go through the ranks here. But look, this was foreign territory for me because I had never at any stage of a season from rounds 1 up to 20 odd had a rank outside of 40k. And as you can see here, my overall position after round 1 was 92,593. Talk about super embarrassing, super deflating. After hours and hours and hours of research, blood, sweat and tears that I put into this starting side, after one round, looking back at it, there were so many glaring omissions, big mistakes. How didn't I see that? I don't know. I was blinded by preseason games, by outside noise. Again, I'll talk about my lessons learned in another video. That's for another day. But butchered my starting team. Super embarrassing, particularly as a content creator. But as we know, the only way from a 90 odd K rank is up. So went up to 76k, then got to under 60. Things were looking a little bit brighter. But come round 4, you would not believe it, another red arrow. And it was at this point where I really felt like throwing in the towel. But if it wasn't for all of you legends, as I mentioned before, I probably would have. But you gave me the motivation to keep on going. Even when I was down in the dumps, I had some great words of encouragement, some lovely messages, either on the comment section, on the videos, or through DMs on different sites and apps, what have you. You really did keep me going, guys. So thank you very much for that. So if you look at the round positions here, 92, 57, 30, 76, things just weren't going well. But then we go a little bit better here all of a sudden and go into 45 and then have a pretty decent round score here. Round score is 2,263 and the round position was 2,106. And I halved my rank from 45 into 22. So things get a little bit more positive from here. We can see a couple of weeks go into the 16k mark, again looking okay, into 13, into 10, damn, balloon out to 14 and a half. So I thought to myself, look, all this great work here, these really good couple of weeks, I've stuffed it up with a round rank of around 60k. And then we get into the buys. Now, I thought that I'd planned pretty well for the buys. And as you can see, in the first week, I did do really well, inside the top 10k, and that was for the first time for the season. If we just fast track a little bit, so we go 11 and we end the buys here. So I went from 14.5k to about 8.5k. So that was a really successful buy period for me, and pretty much from there it just became positive. From round 16, I only went under 2,500 once, and I think a lot of other teams did during that round as well. So 2508, 2558, 2503, 2584, 2665. So that was my best score at the year for that stage. 2505, 2350. That's the only time I went under 2500 since that point. 2657 and 2675. So all in all, a pretty good end to the season. If we look at the overall ranks here, 9 into 8, 8, 7, big jump here, 5. So that round rank was in the top 1,000. That was really handy. Again, these aren't terrible round ranks here. Still got green arrows here. At this stage, my goal was maybe inside the top 4K. And then we go into 3, 3, really nice jump there. So 534 for that round rank, 2657, and then ended up at 2120. So that was a little bit disappointing. I really thought that I could get inside that top 2K. But given the fact that I started at 92,000 into 2,000, I think that was a fairly good comeback. Alrighty, we are getting close to the end of the video, but before we do, I just wanted to go through some of my leagues. I haven't really given my leagues much love this year, so apologies to anyone that has been involved, particularly in the leagues that I've set up, and congratulations to anyone that A, made a grand final, and B, were lucky enough to take one out. So I'll quickly go through some of my results here. The first one is my family members league, and this is one that I really want to take out each year. I did make it to the big dance. I faced off against my good man H. You all know H from the Swordplay Community Podcast. And this week, H was just too good. Congratulations, mate. Took the L. Love the name there as well, buddy. But with a 2,700 plus score, I couldn't quite get the chocolates with a 26.75. Very well deserved, mate. And could not have gone to a better bloke. So well done, H. 2 thumbs up to you, brother. This league here, now, the bloke that won this league is absolutely up and about. It is my man Spills. Congratulations, brother. Now, to even get an invitation to this league, you need to be one of the best when it comes to content creation. So, we've got all the Dr. SuperCoach lads in there, all the boys from Fantasy Take TV, representation from the Herald Sun, Jock Reynolds, the Edge boys, Centre Bounce, any big name that you can think of when it comes to content creating. Mora's Magic, for example, Selby, the absolute GOAT. That's what I mean. We've got the big boys in here. So if you're a big content creator, you would have been involved in this league. And I think that's why Spills is so stoked to actually take this one out. Out of all my leagues, in my opinion anyway, this is the most prestigious one. So Spills, well done, brother. Very well deserved. And didn't you come from the clouds after being a league player and a draft player during stages this season, mate? You came home with an absolute bang and managed to overtake me again after I think I was in front about a month ago. So congratulations, brother. Well done to you, mate. Oh, this one. Now, I don't want to brag, and I won't brag because this is my absolute brother that I took on here, but this is in the SuperCoach with DR regulars, another league that I'm always eyeing off, at least trying to get to the grand final, if not win it. I came up against my brother Janeth, so we're just talking about Spills, took out the Content Creator League. I came up against Janeth this week, and I scored a 26.75 to his 26.48. So there was nothing in it this week, a few kicks, couple of effective handballs, but lucky enough to take that victory home this year. And Janeth, congratulations, mate. Bad luck on the runners-up. Well, look, mate, you got the chocolates when it came to the overall rank. So congratulations, brother. But I must admit, pretty happy to take that one out. I was, mate. The next one we've got here was in a cashie. Now, this is the one where I just missed out on by percentage, and I would have most likely made it to the granny against Spills, I reckon. But I'll need to go back and check results. But again, the great man comes through with 1K prize money, if you don't mind. So Spills, I know that I said that the Content Creators was the most prestigious league, but you've taken out all the money here, mate. So congratulations, and congratulations to Phil, who ended up coming second in this league, mate. You did a fantastic job. I know that you're a really keen watcher and listener of the podcast, so thanks for all the support, brother, and I'll be in contact with you pretty much as soon as I put this video out and get back on Twitter, because I haven't been on Twitter. So, yeah, congratulations, Spills and Phil. Great job there, guys. Damo Supercoach League, so I wasn't lucky enough, I don't think, to even make the top, or I might have made the top 8 here, I'm not too sure, but Punt Road Legend, well done for taking that out, mate. And who was I playing? The SuperCoach Potato, a legend on Twitter, so great to see you involved in that league also, buddy. This was a tough one, so I did make it to this grand final as well, and this was with my SuperCoach with DR League for 2023. Again, really tough to get spots in this one, but Rono's top-ups, SCM, well done to you, buddy. You got over the line again with a 2,700 plus scores. I came up against some good scores, as you can see this week, but congratulations, mate. Super effort from you. Spew and I couldn't quite get over the line there. Really wrapped that I could get over the line in this one. This was the other cash leg that I was involved with, so lucky to take home some prize money myself. This one was $100 entry, so Jesse was the runner up. Again, mate, I'll be in contact with you. Congratulations on a fantastic season. And I know for a lot of the time, mate, I think you're ranked inside the top 200. Went out a little bit towards the end of the season, probably a lack of trades. Actually, absolutely a lack of trades. This was a bit of a Bradbury from me. Poor old Jesse, just from memory, had Dacos, LDU, and Doherty out in his Cashy Grand Final. So bad luck to you, mate. But I must admit, pretty happy to take that one out as well. But yeah, cheers, mate. Congratulations, brother. I actually played against Johnny on this one here, the Black Flag. So congratulations on a terrific season, mate. I know you had a few ups and downs like I did as well, but back on the horse next year, mate. Big believer in you. But City Walk took out the big prize here. Well done to City Walk. I was in the grand final here. And I'll tell you what, talk about coming up against some quality opposition. SuperCoach Mama M, a lovely woman. Really enjoyed meeting her at the Brains Trust SuperCoach function earlier on in the year. So congrats on another terrific season, M. But just could not quite get over the line there. Oh, it was 6 points. So 26.81 to M. Congratulations on another great year, M. Well done. Too good in the end. And the old Super Friends one. So this was, I think, Al Payton's league. All his mates from the Herald Sun. I was lucky enough to get an invite into this one. So thanks very much for that, mate. But SuperCoach Mama, you've just taken out the last two leagues. So, M, congratulations. One of the absolute best and a lovely person, as mentioned as well. And Al, thanks very much for setting up that league, mate. Absolutely fantastic. So, again, only lucky enough to take out 2 grand finals this year. Hopefully next year, I can add a couple more to the cupboard. All right, quick edit. Now, this was almost uploaded to YouTube, but I finally logged onto Twitter and I saw this and I thought, no, I've got to stop the upload and I've got to edit this into the video. This is by my man, AFL Doodles on Twitter. I've mentioned him many times before. Make sure that you give him a follow. But he organised a few really awesome leagues this year on Twitter. So it was Division 1, 2 and 3. Some of the bigger content creators and more well-known personalities on Twitter, I suppose you'd say. And I was lucky enough to be selected in Divi 1. Had a terrible start, but then did a bit of a Stephen Bradbury towards the end. Ended up knocking Janeth off for a top 2 spot, as well as Spills, and ended up making it all the way to the Division 1 Grand Final. Couldn't quite take out the chocolates in the end. I came up against one of the goats of the SuperCoach community, George from Fancy Take TV, and he managed to knock out a really good score this week. So I ended up coming second in Division 1, but as I mentioned, I did knock out Spills and Janeth from this league as well. And I was chatting with AFL Doodles about a potential prize for the winner, and I said what would be fantastic is if you put your great skills to work and actually put out a cartoon of the winner. He did that for George, but he also did one as a runner-up for me, and this is it here. So we can see from down in the dumps to second in Division 1, SuperCoach DR does a Bradbury. So you can see me here with the silver cup, not the gold cup. George is the one with that in his hand. I've got the Brisbane gear on here. This is what I always roll with at the footy, the old school jumper with the old jacket, with the Quit logo. He's got the the Spills would say almost the homeless look here with a little ponytail. And here, if you remember back to the Bradbury incident, he rolled past 2 blokes that were most likely going to take out the race in front of him, here being my brother Janeth and my other brother Spills. So that is absolutely elite work, mate. Love your stuff. Spills has written stiff. Nah, honestly, this is such great stuff. Huge fan of your work. It says, hopefully not too offended. Thought it'd be a great joke for the Swordplay boys. Classic, mate. This is brilliant. So, Janeth loved it as well. Pig Mentality. Give him a follow. Absolute legend on Twitter as well. This is awesome. So, mate, absolutely love your work. Thank you very much for all the hard work you put into these leagues. Everyone that was involved, mate, I can speak on behalf of everyone that was involved. We really appreciate it. Had to quickly edit that one in. Let's get to whatever is the next part of the video. Alright, so that is it, guys. I'm actually going to leave the video there. I had plans on going into my trade history, etc, but I really wanted the video to go for about 20 to 25 minutes, and I've looked down and already we are past the half an hour mark. So I'll leave it here for now. Just before I do let you go, I just want to give some very quick thank yous and let you know what I'll be up to during the off season anyway. So too many thank yous to give individually, but you guys know who you are. I'll be sending out some DMs on Twitter over the next couple of weeks. I'm just super busy at the moment, but I will be contacting people and just thanking them for their support during the season. I did have some down times and you guys really helped to pick me up, so thank you very, very much for that. A very special thank you to all the members of my channel. It's $1 a week if you are interested, guys. All the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds go straight to Beyond Blue, so I'll do a yearly update when we get to December, lads, and your support has just been phenomenal. Cannot thank you enough, and I will be having some new and improved membership packages next year with some extra bonuses for you legends. So if anyone is interested in becoming a member of the channel, just hit me up and I'll go through the whole process with you there. But thank you very much, legends. Does mean the world to me. Two very, very special shout outs to my two swordplay brothers in Spills and Janet. Look, the swordplay was a pretty unprofessional production a couple of years ago when Spills and I just decided to whip a podcast up. The only reason we decided to do it because we were chatting on the phone that often each week, and some of the conversations we had were just bloody hilarious, and some great strategy and info in there as well. So we thought to ourselves, well, why don't we just basically record ourselves having a chat? So we did that, and bringing Janet on board this year has just brought it to fantastic levels. And yeah, thank you very much for the support there. It has been extremely positive, and in exciting news, we are getting on Spotify next year, and maybe even having another special host from time to time as well. And big shout out to Shorty. You came on pretty regularly, mate. I think you're on about 3 or 4 times. Shout out to you, brother. And obviously Big Brentos, my man, my best mate. Loved having you on, mate. The biggest character in SuperCoach. So thanks very much to everyone that came onto the Swordplay Potty. That included the special guests for the community pod as well. Absolute shout out to you legends. A big thank you to anyone that came onto the channel to do the preseason team previews. We gave you a shout out, I think, on the Swordplay Potty as well. And thank you as well to those other content creators which were nice enough to invite me onto their channel. You know, the blokes from the Centre Bounce, the blokes from SuperCoach Insider. Shout out to all you legends. SuperCoach Edge. I'm sure I'm forgetting people. The Jock Reynolds boys for the mailbag as well. Felt like I was really part of the family there. Thank you very much, lads. I know that I'm forgetting other people as well, so apologies. I'm just doing all the thank yous off the top of my head. I've got some of the stuff written down, which I'll be doing in the pre-season. I'm sure there's so many more thank yous, but guys, you know who you are. Please don't get offended if I've forgotten you for any reason. As I said, I will be sending out some DMs in the weeks to come. Now, in regards to what I'll be doing in the next, say, month into next year, the first thing I'll be doing is getting out a Prison League video because the results are through. I haven't quite tallied them yet, but I forget how many participants we had. I think it was around 40 to 50. I'm going to go through the winner. I'm going to go through everyone's team, everyone's scores. So particularly if you're involved in that, cash prizes up for grabs. Hopefully you've been one of the winners anyway, or in the top 3. Good luck to everyone. That will be out very, very soon. I'm going to do another video. I'm going to do the SuperCoach Brownlow. Now, I haven't worked out a name for this. It's going to be something to do with Ablett or Gaza. If you know a name for it, let me know. But I'm not going to reveal too much now. But it's not as obvious as what you think, who's just got the most points. It's going to be a round-by-round system, very similar to the Brownlow medal itself, but I'll explain more about that. That should be a little bit of fun anyway. That will be out in the next 2 to 3 weeks. I might do a couple of finals previews as well, particularly the Brisbane Lions preview. I may leave the other teams to other people, but being a Lions man myself, I'm pretty keen to do a couple of previews there. We'll be in at least 2 finals, so really, really looking forward to that. I might even do a vlog if I'm lucky enough to go to one of the finals. I'm also going to do a collection video. I had lots of people actually ask me for that, and I will do that during the off-season at some stage. It's going to be a long video though because it's a pretty extensive collection, but I'll get out all the vintage action figures and show you what I got there. I know that Big J is going to do some AFLW fantasy content himself, so make sure that you check that out. I don't know if I'll get involved there. I'll certainly put a team together, but when it comes to content, I simply don't know enough about it. I don't know many of the players, but we'll see what happens there. Might be able to get on my bike and do some research. Now, this is really exciting. NBL SuperCoach is officially open, so I'll be doing some content with Steve from SDS SuperCoach. Calls out the ladies' man Blackledge. He's a really keen basketball fan as well. He'll be sharing some of his knowledge, and I'm in a chat group on Twitter as well with the great Damo from Jock Reynolds, and I'm trying to nudge him just to see if he can get involved in a couple of videos as well. So that should be super exciting. No guarantees with the great Damo there, but Steve and I and Causa are certainly keen to put some content out. If you are interested, it is open at the moment and accessible from your current SuperCoach app. So make sure that you give that a look. This is going to be, now, I wasn't sure if I was actually going to go through with this. Again, this is really due to popular demand. We are getting some merch out there. So we're doing some swordplay merch as well as some SuperCoach with DR merch. And I haven't even mentioned it to this legend, but I want to get in contact with my man AFL Doodles and see if we can tee up some stuff together, because he is a super talent, and more of his work deserves to be out there in the world and on people's t-shirts, I reckon. So potentially stay tuned for some exciting news there. As I said, haven't even talked to the great man about that, but we'll certainly be getting some swordplay hoodies and t-shirts out there, as well as some stuff with the DR logo, because funnily enough, I didn't think anyone would be remotely interested in this. I've actually had a fair few blokes ask me about it and ask Spills about it as well. So that should be exciting for next year. And I think that's pretty much all that I've got on my list. So guys, it has been a ripping season. Thanks again for all of your friendship, all of your support. It's a little bit sad, isn't it, signing out for the last time for AFL SuperCoach 2023. I'll miss all your comments each week. I'll miss all the interaction. But remember, we do have a ripping final series coming up. We've got NBL SuperCoach. We've got BBL SuperCoach, if cricket tickles your fancy. So plenty more fantasy to come. But for now, guys, I'm going to sign out for 2023. And hopefully I'll see you soon in the next one. Much love to all you guys. Say good day to your families for me. Enjoy the off season. Much love, and I'll speak to you soon. Cheers, guys. Bye.